Joining us now on the post-game show, hello everybody, I'm Peter Frere alongside Eric Elger, and I'm sure he willed them on to have one of the highest shooting percentages in Carthage history, head coach Steve Djurickovic. Steve, halftime you're down by 1, next thing you know, second half, I mean, it's a 9 out of 10 in a row from shooting. It just was second to none, and what I really appreciate about what we've seen is you find different ways to win.
That was a fun one. It was, and we needed it. We talked on Saturday about we've been in that shooting slump a little bit, 7 of 30, 9 of 30 from 3. And I think I told the guys going in, let's get a 12 for 24, 25 there. But you know what? I'll settle for 11 for 17. And, things help when the ball goes in the basket. But guys made good reads. Guys made really good decisions. I thought offensively in the second half we attacked where we wanted to a little bit better. And, a little interesting start with everything for the game, a little bit of a delay going in. But guys stayed focused. And I thought defensively in the second half, stayed a little bit truer to ourselves on that end, which allowed us to get those stops, to get into our early offense when we're pretty effective that way.
Yeah, I just got to ask you, was there something you did between last game and this game in practice? Was it just getting more shots up? Was it technique? Or was it just, hey, these guys are going to make them eventually?
If I had that answer, we'd never lose. But no, we preached last time too. Like, if you're open, shoot the ball with confidence, please. And we got a lot of talented players. We want them to go out there and make the correct decisions. Let them read and react. Let them play within our offensive principles. And when the ball falls in like that too, it's fun to watch. It really is fun to be a part of. We do have a lot of different actions. We can attack you in a lot of different ways. I thought Ryan Johnson really led that run in that second half to get us some easy baskets around the paint. The guys found him well. And then, we talked about rebounding the basketball. They kicked our butt in the first half, getting to the offensive boards. And Riley Brooks finished with 11 rebounds today, a career high. So I was super proud of him for that.
Yeah, I was going to mention that after it seemed like North Central was able to get those 10 offensive rebounds early. He had just 1 offensive rebound in comparison. And it seemed like as the game went on, they really shored that up, and guys like Riley Brooks and the rest of the crew really crashed the boards. And were there some adjustments on the rebounding end that you made, or it just came down to just being more physical?
I think on the board it says who wants it more. Who's going to be the more physical team? The tougher team is going to win this game. Every time you play a team like North Central, that's going to be the outcome. And a lot of the times they're going to end up on top because they're physical, they're in the right spots, they're very correct, and they're a talented group. They got some really, really good young guys with some very experienced players that we're ready for Hellwigs to be finished, I think, in the league after about 7-8 years of really good basketball. So they have a really nice mix of players there. And, I thought when we hit those shots late to extend, obviously helped us out and helped us get those stops in the defensive end.
Talk to us through a little bit, though, when you had Ryan Johnson have a little bit of foul trouble early on. Nemi comes into the game. We've spoken a lot about Nemi. But then in the second half, Nemi didn't have to play as much, but then Sigel steps up. I mean, whatever player you call on, we even mentioned, I really want to, call out Nate Montgomery. Like, all of a sudden we're staying up here like, wait, that's the same guy? Okay, Montgomery's in the game, draws the foul, gets the offensive points. Any player called upon, they're ready to go, and they're ready to, run through the wall for you.
That's what makes this such a good team. It's such a fun team to be around. You should have seen the bench, the interaction in the locker room after for what Nate did at the end of the first half, because Nate came in as a transfer from Winona State, and it's been one thing, one injury after the other, after the next, and it's been so frustrating to watch for him. It's taken a toll on him. It's taken a toll on us, everybody on the team, because they want him, because he's such a hard-working guy. And he does all the little things that helps you win. And he showed that in a little spurt, and hopefully that gives him some confidence to keep building and building towards this stretch run of conference season. But the other one I want to give a shout-out to as well is Griffin Dawn's been fantastic. And, you can look at the 18 points. He got a different matchup look being chased by a 6'8 guy at Milliken last week. And today he did the same exact things that we worked on the last few days of practice and finished every single one, all while chasing Ethan Hellwig, is one of the best players in the conference, for 40 minutes. Yeah.
Talk us through now, again, when we look forward, we spoke about it with you a few days ago. It doesn't get easier. Every CCIW team on any night could be the best team in the conference. How do you keep this going, saying, okay, we had the gritty win a few days ago, the physical one, 3 players scoring all but 10 of the points. Today, it was the lights out show in the second half. How do you continue diversification so that way, coming this weekend and next week, it just keeps going in a positive way without losing that focus?
It's the hardest part of this sport being over a long season, over the winter months. These are your dog days of summer baseball type, right?
Yeah.
And it's just trying to be focused every single day. And I thought we did a really good job these last few days. After we finished up talking in the locker room, the big thing was like no letdowns. We got to come in focused. Tomorrow cannot be a wasted day.
Yeah.
And Wheaton's a scary team. They were up 7 against Illinois Wesleyan last week with 2:30 left, 2:40 left. They play zone for 40 minutes, which scares you, which means you got to knock down some shots and get the ball in the middle of the zone. So we got to be ready to go, and their offense is the same as it's been since I've played, which is a while ago now. And you got to be ready to guard on the perimeter and fight through screens.
Yeah.
So, I think I think we have some mature guys. I think they've been through a lot the last couple of years too, and have started to see this growth. And now, they understand what it takes. Like, this is a game that we went in and we said, this is a must-win for us. If we want to compete at the top end and win a conference championship, you need to protect home court. So we came out today, and for the first time, I think, in January, we had a full 40 minutes. And it may not seem like that in the first half, but I thought it was a more complete game and not the runs we gave up in the Milliken and the Elmhurst and the North Park one, too.
Yeah. Well, Coach, congrats on the huge win. Go get a little bit of rest, no later game than usual, but you sped things up at the end, so congratulations, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you, Coach. Looking at the game stats now, 93-78. Thank you again to head coach Steve Djurickovic for joining us in the postgame show. The 31 from 50, 11 from 17, and the big one you said, when we this is the third time mentioning it now, what was going to give? Was it going to be the shooting or the rebounds? 28-28. It ended at the same exact rebound number, which for all intents and purposes is a win for Carthage.
Yeah, I think just Carthage, as they got 10 minutes left to go to the game, they really wanted it more. As coach poses that question to his team, and I think another guy to shout out is something like Colton Sigel, who in the second half, you could see North Central targeting him on the defensive end, and he held his own. He got a steal. He drew an offensive foul. He had a ball he knocked off of someone's knee. So even though they were even trying to attack what they thought was the weak link of the Carthage defense, someone like Colton Sigel said, not so fast.
Yeah. Individually speaking, again, not much more could be said as we look at some continual stats here. Bench points was, all one way for North Central, didn't matter. Individually speaking for Carthage, 22 points for A.J. Dawn, 8 for 10 from the field, 3 boards, 2 assists. I mean, my goodness, a player that played sporadically last year is now a starter and just impactful each and every way.
And something to point out again, there's a little social media post when the Johnson brothers went 20 from the line a couple games ago.
Yeah.
As a team, 20 for 20 from the line, so we got another perfect 20-20 vision on the free throw line. So again, Carthage, if they continue to shoot free throws like that, it really doesn't allow teams to make any comebacks, because if they have to foul, Carthage knocks them both down, and really anyone that stepped to this charity stripe, they made them all. So credit to the team again for shooting hot from no matter where they were on the court.
Looking at the upcoming schedule, tomorrow, women's and men's wrestling back-to-back versus Aurora. Next Wednesday, we'll be back here, men's basketball versus Carroll. And then Saturday, the big doubleheader, women's and men's basketball versus Augustana. For your upcoming live schedule, again, North Central will be heading to North Park this Saturday. That is a late one. That's a 7:15 tip-off. Another conference rivalry between those two squads. And then as for your home Firebirds, once again, at Wheaton this Saturday at 7:15 for that tip-off. One more time, looking through some out-of-town scoreboards very quickly. Illinois Wesleyan over Milliken, 77-60. Elmhurst falls at the very end to Carroll, 84-77. And Augustana defeated Wheaton, 75-62. We want to thank you all for being with us this evening. For executive producer Mike Love, producer John Voinovich, as well as director Laura, Maddie, Marissa, Mark, Natasha, Daniel, Jeremy, Ryder, Addison, and Yam. Outstanding crew as always. Thank you. This program has been a presentation of Firebird Broadcast Productions and Carthage College, copyright 2025. Once again, for Eric Elger, I'm Peter Ferrer, your final in Kenosha, 93-78. Have a good rest of your evening, everybody.